Welcome to Smart Remarks, where I wish I dabbled in witchcraft. I'd make Christine O'Donnell disappear. So the newest Tea Party darling, Christine O'Donnell, continues to dominate the headlines with the Delaware senatorial candidate bailing on appearances on Face the Nation and Fox News Sunday last week, although she did go on Hannity. With Bill Maher digging up a whole bunch of old clips of her, including one where she talked about how she had, quote, dabbled in witchcraft. And I thought, you know, give us all a break. I don't believe for 1 second that O'Donnell would even know a satanic altar if she tripped over it. This is either an outright embellishment or a complete falsehood meant to burnish her credentials as someone who was on the wrong path until she realized it and got on God's path instead. Later on, she told Hannity of her rebellious college days that, quote, some people dabble in drugs to rebel. That's how I rebelled. You know, once more, bunk. Look, I'm about O'Donnell's age. I went to college in the mid-1980s. It was the era of just say no, but a lot of us said yes. And every single one of us knew somebody like O'Donnell who maybe smoked pot once or twice, but 20 years later turns around and talks about what a druggie she was because this supposedly gives her some sort of perspective, which in reality she lacks. Ah, but how elitist of me. See, her biggest fans, they don't really care whether she actually did these things, if she did dabble in witchcraft or tried to smoke oregano. No, it's not about that. It's that people like me would dare to attack her because by doing so, I am attacking them, and that's an outrage! It's your usual right-wing knee-jerk thing, identity politics at its worst, and it's one way, but only one way, in which Christine O'Donnell is a lot like Sarah Palin. But notice what doesn't get mentioned in all of this. You know, we're not talking about O'Donnell's positions on the issues, we're not talking about her acumen, we're not talking about her ideas. So what are her ideas besides the same old Republican thing? The strength of the Tea Party movement is that Americans in general believe that the political class in Washington has completely fumbled the ball, and that's a legitimate observation. But the problem is that our problems in this country are so complex, it requires new thinking, innovative new approaches to untangle the mess in a way that doesn't cause society itself to unravel. And with O'Donnell and the likes of Sarah Palin, the Tea Party is foisting something entirely else upon this country. There's no new thinking here. What we get instead is old thinking, if we get any thinking at all. Go to O'Donnell's website, as I did, and check out her positions on the issues. Take a wild guess what they are. Cut taxes and cut spending, values, gun rights! This is conservative boilerplate packaged as the answer. This is politics for people who believe that there's no problem so complex that simple ideological solutions won't suffice. And that is all that Christine O'Donnell has, simple ideological solutions. But as long as ideology is her solution, her past nuttiness is irrelevant to her biggest fans because the Tea Partiers will put up with virtually anything, so long as you're one of them.
You're a witch.
I dabbled into witchcraft. I never joined a coven.
Wait
but
a minute, you were a witch? Yeah, she was a
I was a witch.
I mean, wait a minute.
But that's exactly why.
How you used to be a witch?
Because I dabbled into witchcraft. I hung around people who were doing these things.
Having fun?
I'm not making this stuff up. I know what they told me they do.
Well, what they do?
I mean, and one of my dates, my first date was...
Wait, I want to hear about this.
One of my first dates with the witch was on a satanic altar, and I didn't know it. And, I mean, there's little blood there and stuff like that.